Hello everyone, welcome back to Natalie's Witchy Wisdom, the Purple Broom Apothecary. I am here this morning to do a reading. I am doing a reading for SHK, my brain just sort of locked up on me there. This reading was originally going to be a general life reading is kind of what she told me, but then she told me that really she's more focused on a relationship that she's currently in and wanted more focus on the relationship. So SHK, this is your reading regarding that relationship. I have put a picture of the two of them, each individually, on this heart-shaped piece of paper. And I'm using that as a focal point. I put it face down for privacy reasons, but this will be what centers the energy of the cards on this particular reading. And what I am going to do is I am going to focus the reading on the two individuals and their relationship in general. And I'm going to do kind of a different reading. This is not a style of reading that you've seen me do in a video before. I have used this style of reading in relationship reads and find that it's quite useful for getting to the nuts and bolts of what's the issue or what's going on with the relationship, especially when there's some level of doubt. I realize the lighting in here is not the best, and I do apologize. I don't have any way to improve the lighting, and I don't have a better area at the moment for setting up the altar. So I have, as you can see, my statue of my goddess the Morrigan with some raven feathers to focus her and to call upon her in this reading. She is a goddess of death and rebirth and sex and love and all of that good stuff. She has intimate ties to the land and to relationships, and so I like to call upon her for readings such as this. She's my goddess, she's who I work with, and so I see her in many different aspects. I have lit some incense. This is dragon's blood incense for an offering, and I have my Morrigan candle and a selenite sphere for clarity and focus, protection in the reading. So I'm going to shuffle up the cards. I am using the Dreamer's Tarot, which is my favorite. I have a new tarot that I haven't had a chance to consecrate yet and try, but this one is my particular favorite, especially for this type of read. I am going to place down 2 cards on each side of the heart and 1 card to the center of the heart. What this represents is issues in his past which are affecting his ability to have a relationship, or things that may be affecting him in the relationship today. But this is things that have occurred in the past. This is where he currently sits, or issues that are facing him in the present with regards to this specific relationship here. Same thing, we have the past and the present for SHK. So these are your cards here, and then this card here pertains to if the relationship continues, what is the likely outcome for the two of you as a couple. So I'm going to get to this read now, and I'm going to start with his side of things in the past. The card is the Chariot. Now, the Chariot is one of the major arcana cards. I'm going to move to the side so you can get a better view of this card. The Chariot typically represents movement in some way. It is a card that it has multiple meanings, but usually associated with movement and some sort of almost like a champion. It's like a champion card. Now, in this imagery, it's very different than what you see in other decks. This has a much darker imagery to it. What I see is that, to me, he feels like he's always moving when it comes to relationships. He likes relationships that are fast-paced, get to the point, and that's that. That's the way it's always been, and it's been kind of almost a love him and leave him kind of situation where he's got a purpose to the relationship. If it's not meeting what he deems to be his purpose for the relationship, he's already ready to move on. So his relationships typically tend to be very short-lived because he's always ready to move along. So that is what I see in his past. In his present, we have the 8 of Cups. Now, the Eight of Cups, what's interesting about this card in terms of this read is that it is a card of the Minor Arcana, but the Suit of Cups deals specifically with emotional situations, relationships, interpersonal relationships, and so on and so forth. Now, what I am seeing here is that he realizes he's got a lot to the relationship. There are many things about the relationship that he likes, but he can't get over that feeling that there's always something better on in the future, that there's always something better waiting for him along the line. That, you know, as you can see this shining tower in the light. And so he has a tendency in the present, or what he's currently doing is he's kind of turning his back on the richness of the current relationship. And he's constantly seeking. Again, it goes back to that being always on the move. If he doesn't get the immediate satisfaction emotionally, mentally, physically that he feels he needs, he's ready to move on. He's looking at, okay, this relationship isn't exactly, you know, what I need in terms of, it's almost as if he doesn't really know what he's looking for. He's got a lot of richness to the relationship. You've got a lot of full cups here. They're stacked one upon the other. Everything he needs to be satisfied with the relationship is here, but he can't help that sense of longing for some idealized version of love that he thinks it's going to be. And that's exactly what it is that he feels like he's got some image in his mind of what the relationship should consist of. And in some way, this current relationship is not meeting that, as none of his relationships in the past have. And this is indicative of somebody who has a very immature view on love and what love means and what a relationship should consist of. If it's not exactly smooth and it's not exactly, you know, perfect 100%, then he's ready to just let it go and keep looking for what he thinks is the ideal, which he's never going to find. It's always going to be in the distance. It's never going to come to fruition. So now I will take a look at the cards. I'm going to move this in a little bit closer for you. That might make it easier in terms of the lighting. Now, SHK, your past issues consist of the Three of Swords. Now, what's interesting about this is this card is in the reverse position. And typically I don't read reversals because I think cards have an archetypal meaning. I think that there's multiple meanings to each card. So I read the card based on the other cards and what I see. What this card tells me is that you feel, at least, that you have been very, very unlucky in love. You've met with a lot of betrayal in the past. Things have just never worked out for you the way you would like them to work out. You're seeking a meaningful relationship, and it seems like you're always getting stabbed in the back, betrayed in some way, disappointed somehow, and that this has made you a little despairing and just really wanting something right now, this minute, that's going to be you. You feel like you're never going to find what you're looking for. You're almost in despair that nothing seems to work out for you in terms of love. And when you look back on your past, this seems to be the way it's always been for you. And I think you're feeling a bit frustrated and a bit almost in despair and ready to give up on love itself, that you're just never going to find what you need. And this kind of insecurity lingers in the background of all of your relationships, which can impact how this person is feeling here, that, you know, because that sense of insecurity is eking out in some way, ways that you may not even be aware of, you are causing him to want to look further, like he feels dissatisfied with the relationship because of the insecurity that ekes in from your past. So this may be something to caution against, to look for and to watch out for. In the present, what I see is the Knight of Pentacles. Now, what's interesting about this card is that Pentacles deal with the earth signs. So all of those zodiac signs that are associated with the earth, that would be what this pertains to. Knights in a reading can indicate someone from the age of 18 to 35. So it would fall in there. So I get the impression that this individual here is probably within this age range. I'm not sure if this corresponds to his zodiac sign specifically. If not, then this could indicate someone else that's in the background that you may not be aware of. But knights also are those who are champions. So it's it could be that this relationship is meant to be, or that if this particular relationship is not, there's already somebody within your life who is your champion. So that's, since I don't know this individual's date of birth, I could not tell you if this pertains to him specifically. You would know that. But it tells me that there is someone already in your life that is the person that you're looking for, with, which you can have a nice, rich, fruitful relationship. Pentacles, the suit of Pentacles, aside from dealing with earth signs, also deals with the financial aspects of a life, a relationship, a situation. So you can see that the rose is here. That to me indicates prosperity and fruitfulness. It's a bright, happy card. This to me tells me that the person is present, whether it's this individual or not, they're around you currently. So if this relationship is not moving along and this card does not represent this individual, then there's already somebody there that you may be overlooking, but he's ready to champion your cause and be the person that you need to help you heal from your issues in the past. Now, this card here, and by the way, this relationship would be a fruitful relationship financially as well as emotionally and physically. Now, this card here is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is kind of an interesting card. Swords deal with challenges and issues that we face. And this girl, she's busy out there gathering up the swords. Okay, take a good look at her. Okay, she's outside, she's gathering up all of the issues and collecting all of the issues. So unless these issues within the past and present of each of you can be resolved, I see this relationship not being a very healthy one, in terms of it's going to be a constant putting out of fires sort of thing. It's going to be a constant, this issue's arising and this issue's arising. And I see you, to me, this represents you. I see you being the one who keeps trying to pick up the relationship and stabilize it. I see you running around and constantly trying to satisfy what he feels is missing in the relationship. So I'm getting the distinct impression that this individual here is not the individual that you're currently in a relationship with. I think he wants a relationship, and I think that he's seeking something, but he's not feeling it. In terms of, he realizes there's good things to this relationship, but he's turning his back on it. And he's going to be consistently turning his back on it. And that's going to leave you trying to pick up the pieces. I would probably recommend having a serious heart-to-heart with this individual and seeing where you guys really are. Lay your cards on the table and say, hey, look, I don't understand some of what's going on here. I'm trying to provide you with what you need and what I need, and I'm not feeling that we're on the same plane. And having a serious face-to-face, heart-to-heart talk with this person as to whether or not this relationship is really going somewhere. Because if things stay on the current path, I do not see it being a healthy or good relationship for either one of you, but specifically for you. I see him laying out the swords, and you're constantly gathering them up. You're trying to put out the fires. You're trying to deal with each issue as it comes up and resolve each issue to make him satisfied. And I see it just running you ragged emotionally, in terms of you're going to be constantly on the run and on the defensive, trying to pick things up and deal with things as they come at you. And he's just going to be throwing them down on the ground as you go. So I would have a very serious heart-to-heart talk with this person and saying, look, this is what I'm noticing. This is what I'm seeing. This is the impression I'm getting. And I want to know where you stand. Is this relationship going to be something? Is it not going to be something? And if it's not, girl, move on. If he is not ready to resolve his issues here and realize what he has is a good thing, then he's not worth your time, and he's definitely not worth the emotional turmoil that I see in future for you if things stay upon the current course. I think that you've got somebody somewhere in your midst who is either on their way or already there, who is going to give you the kind of fruitful relationship that you're looking for. It's just that I think the insecurities and issues of your past are causing you to look in places where it's not. And what I have found through my experience is that when you are least looking When you're not really focused on it, when you're more focused on yourself, that's when this individual will come along and help you out and be respectful of you in the way that you deserve. So that is the reading that I get here. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I hope that this has given you some guidance and some insight. Thanks and blessed be.